Senior Elder Sylvester Oromoni, the father to Dowan College student, Sylvester Oromoni, who was reportedly gang-beaten and poisoned to death, has called on President Muhammadu Buhari, Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, and the national and international human rights groups to help him seek justice for the killers of his son to be brought to book. Father of the deceased student in a press release personally signed said copies of the DPP legal advice on the case was not made available to him despite several requests made. My attention has been drawn to the legal advice dated the 4th day of January 2022 on the untimely and brutal death of my beloved son, Sylvester Oromoni Jr., who died on the 30th day of November 2021. I am appalled by the said legal advice dated the 4 hours day of January 2021 being circulated on social media, as a copy was not obliged to us despite several requests for same, father of the deceased student said. Mr. Oromoni said the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Hakeem Odumosu, had on December 31, 2021 preempted the outcome of the autopsy report in his address before members of the press. Be that as it may, I am not surprised with the content of said legal advice because the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Command, Mr. Hakeem Odumosu, who had earlier preempted the report on the 31st day of December 2021 when he said that at the instance of the Governor, Attorney General and Director of Public Prosecution of Lagos State, the investigation had been concluded and that those arrested in connection with the murder had no case to answer and thereby exonerated. You could recall that on the 21st day of December 2021, a magistrate court in Yaba, Lagos, presided over by Mrs. Olatunbosun Adeola, granted the 5 suspects bail even though the DPP advice was yet to be issued. Our findings from both the Commissioner of Police and Deputy Commissioner of Police, Sid Panty, denied being aware of the release of the 5 suspects. The Commissioner of Police further maintained that they were yet to conclude their investigation, hence the issue of bail would not have arisen. It may interest you to know that the suspects were ordered to be remanded by the police for 21 days by the same magistrate court to have a proper investigation, Mr. Oromoni said. Mr. Oromoni said his son was killed as a result of the school negligence. It is my belief and a shame on the Lagos state government to have allowed this kind of gang up against an innocent boy who died as a result of negligence from the management of Dowan College, Lekki, Lagos. There is a clear oral statement from my son before he died and his schoolmates that he was tortured and given an unknown substance suspected to be poison which led to his death. He added that the school had earlier lied that his son sustained injury while playing football, but all evidence gathered so far has proven the school otherwise. The management of Dowan College, Lekki, Lagos, has always claimed that my late son sustained the injury while playing football. All evidence gathered so far has shown that this is not the true story but a way to cover up their negligence. Based on the outcome of the autopsy report, which contradicts the story of Dowan College, it is my firm belief that there is a conspiracy among the officials of Lagos State Government and the Nigeria Police Force, Lagos State Command, to cover up the circumstances surrounding the gruesome death of my son, late Sylvester Oromoni Jr. It is disheartening that in the DPP advice, the state of Lagos claims that the 5 suspects have no case to answer. The germane question to ask, in whose custody was my late son Sylvester Oromoni Jr. at all material times when the substance was forcefully administered to him? Finally, I call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Inspector General of Police, Chairman National Human Rights Commission, Civil Society, international human rights groups, and the general public to help me get justice, as the turn of events has clearly shown that justice is being tampered with. I have instructed my team of lawyers led by Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, to take all necessary steps within the purview of the law to get justice for my son. Sylvester Oromoni Jr., father of the deceased student, said. Legal advice of the Lagos State Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, Adetutu Oshinusi, allegedly suggested that Sylvester Oromoni died of natural cause and thereafter set free the 5 students and 5 employees of Dowan College accused of being responsible for the death of the deceased student. Photo grid shows screenshots of Senior Elder Sylvester Oromoni's statement. The media citing the documents as published said, according to the legal advice addressed to the Deputy Commissioner of Police, State Criminal Investigation Department, SID, and the trial magistrate, Magistrate Olatunbosun Adeola, the interim and final autopsy reports issued by the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital and toxicology report of post-mortem samples and that of the Central Hospital, WARI were in agreement as to the cause of death, namely, septicemia, lobar pneumonia with acute pyelonephritis, pyomitosis of the right ankle, and acute bacterial pneumonia due to severe sepsis. Medical and general dictionaries agree that lobar pneumonia with acute pyelonephritis is a bacteria infection that causes inflammation of the kidneys that also affect a large and continuous area of the lobe of a lung. Pyomitosis is a bacteria infection of the skeletal muscles. Acute bacterial pneumonia is difficulty in breathing due to an inflammation of the lungs as a result of bacteria infection. And finally, the alleged root cause of the death, which the reported Lagos state government autopsy report described as septicemia, is the act or state when chemicals released in the bloodstream to fight an infection trigger inflammation throughout the body, which may affect every other organs in the body and sometimes can lead to death of the affected person. Autopsy conducted in Delta State had been made public, and the report indicated that Sylvester Oromoni was gruesomely and heartlessly murdered. The autopsy report said Sylvester Oromoni died as a result of difficulty in breathing due to chemical intoxication or poisonous substance found in his stomach after an attack on him, which the autopsy report described as blunt force trauma. Kindly support our vision of building a community of 1 million pen soldiers whose successes will be judged based on positive development in the society. Sylvester Oromoni, Schoolmates testify. My son was poisoned, beaten to death. LASG conspires with police to cover up murderers. Father January 5, 2022. Senior Elder Sylvester Oromoni, the father to Dowan College student, Sylvester Oromoni, who was reportedly gang beaten and poisoned too. God arise, cut short my son's killers, supporters lives short. Sylvester Oromoni's mother curses over Lagos DPP report January 5, 2022. Following the alleged autopsy report credited to the Lagos State Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, that suggested that Sylvester Oromoni, political solution possible for Nnamdi Kanu, but I will not release him if. Buhari January 5, 2022. President Muhammadu Buhari has said there is every possibility of political solution for the release of the detained leader of bacteria infection kills Sylvester Oromoni, LASG autopsy report January 5, 2022. Channels Television few hours ago quoted an undisclosed documents obtained from officials of Lagos state government under the leadership of infection, reason women don't get wet during sex, gynecologist January 5, 2022. Gynecologist, Dr. Joseph Akinde, the medical director of Living Spring Hospital, Ejikbo in Lagos State, has attributed infection, medication applied during